Oh yeah, pipe smokers, yeah. So it's the Paul Gilson YouTube channel, and yes, I am Paul Gilson, aka Paul the Pipe Guy, live from Rochester, New York, on Winchester Street, here in the United States of America. Thank the Lord. Yeah, so we're gonna have a great show for you tonight. I've been busy, haven't done some videos in a little bit, but you know what? We have a great show for you tonight. So grab your favorite pipe, grab your favorite blend, and grab your favorite beverage. It's the 23rd, the 23rd of September 2025. Yeah. So let's have a Tuesday night smoke together. Yeah. Come on, guys. Let's start something on fire together. Yeah, so we have our Bush beer here. A Gilson Paul the Pipe Guy staple here at the House of the Blues. My house is blue. Yep. And cheers, you know. And we have this gorgeous Stanwell pipe. This is the 1997 Pipe of the Year for Stanwell. And inside that, we have some Northwest Track by the Country Square. One of my favorite go-tos. Let's start it on fire. Instant gratification. So for the past 3 days, meaning Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, which is today, I was called on a special mission to go to Advantech Industries 1, which is our main factory. And I've been working out of Advantech Industries 2, which is the factory across the street that they just put a $5 million addition on. And they said that there's some precise grinding work that only you know how to do, and we need you to come over and do it. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that could be. So you folks in the, sheet metal shop type of industry, CNC industry, machine shop industry, you'll understand this, okay? We have certain things that we make for the military, and they have to be ground to very specific specifications, and the things weigh like 70 pounds a piece. So I took over 3 days, I took over 150 parts about that long that weigh about 70 pounds a piece, lugged them up on a table. I've got a 20-inch DeWalt 7-inch grinder. I'm grinding welds down. I got another little 4-inch grinder, 60 grit sandpaper on it. I'm dusting all of the weld spatter off of it, because when you go to put it all together, everything has to be totally flat. You can't have a little weld BB or anything like that. It has to sit totally flat so the welder can take these 5 different parts, put them together. They all sit flat at the same depth. No BBs under them, no overweld or anything that's sticking up. And it has to be flat, and then he welds them together. And we have to have most of you won't understand this, but we have to maintain a 60 thousandths of an inch flatness, which means if you lay a bar across it and take a 60 thou gauge, you shouldn't be able to fit that anywhere under the bar in three different sections of these huge parts that were, well, not huge, but large parts that were welding together. And I'm like, this isn't specialized grinding, but you have to be a perfectionist at this. So I was like, they said, all right, here's all the parts, Paul. I got a 3-day workout. Let me tell you, I got it all finished. The kid they had doing them before, I had to redo all of his parts because he didn't get all the overweld, which you won't understand, but I guess when you weld these parts together, they come in actually sections that are shaped like that. They're channels of steel. Then they have a top that goes on them. You clamp them down and you weld. Well, you get a little weld overrun on the sides. All of that has to be ground down perfectly, no BBs, no nothing. I'm looking at this kid's parts that they didn't even train. They just said grind the welds off, excuse me. I'm like, geez, man, I gotta redo all of his parts. They're not right. I spoke with a welder, and I not only ground these parts for 2 years, then they said, hey, you want to be a welder and weld them? I says, yeah, hell yeah. You know, I've always learned that when you get into a manufacturing type of situation, and they told me when I got there, if it gets slow in the one department, go ask this guy. He'll have something for you to do, or go ask this guy, or go ask. So what I did is over the last 7 years, I got cross-trained in many, many different departments, which basically, it doesn't make me invaluable, but it makes me a valuable employee because the plant manager can say, all right, you know what? Paul knows how to do that. Paul knows how to do that. That. There's like 50 things there that I know how to do, where some guys only know how to do one thing. I wanted to soak up all the knowledge. And you young guys, if you're in manufacturing or you're in plumbing or you're learning to be an electrician or heating and air conditioning specialist, whatever it is in the trades, learn everything you can from the old guys that are in their 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and sometimes even into their 70s. Soak up all that knowledge. Want to learn as much as you can because you're going to be more valuable. When things start to get slow, the guy that only knows how to do one thing, guess what? He gets laid off. The guy that knows how to do 20 things, they're like, all right, we're a little slow in this area. We're going to plug you in over here. We need you over here. So I've always been that way all my life. And you should be too, because it creates job security for you. So I get all these done, and after each 9.5-hour day, I come home. My back is not killing me, but it's like my back muscles are sore. I'm bending over, picking these parts up. I know how to squat and pick them up, but it still wears on your back muscles, you know, if you're not used to doing it. So our CWI, which stands for Certified Welding Instructor, came up to me late this afternoon. He's like, "Hey, man, you know, I want," and he's this guy. His name is Tom. I'm not going to tell you his last name. Tom's a great guy, Tom's a bodybuilder. He's like 57, 58 years old. He's like jacked. And he doesn't do steroids. It's all natural. He comes up, hey man, you know, I found your YouTube channel and I watch it. I was like, what? Really? The music and the stuff and the discussions and that? He's like, yeah. And he says, you know who else watches it? And he mentions the name and the company of one of our largest defense contractors, meaning a military contractor. This guy has a security clearance, this other guy, that's like through the roof. He's in his late 40s. I won't mention his name. I'm not going to mention what company it's from. We don't talk about that kind of stuff outside of the factory, but it starts with a B. And he'll know who he is if he's watching. He's a cool ass dude, man. And so our certified welding inspector is like, yeah, man, he watches your channel like all the time out of Pennsylvania where he lives. I was like, really? And I've had other people at work, hey man, I found your YouTube channel, I watch, you know, and it's pretty cool, you know. I mean, I love the company that I work for. I feel so blessed to, and I'm not saying this because any of these guys might be watching. They can kiss my ass, all right? Most of the time I don't like them because they're dickheads. Just kidding. But I say this from the bottom of my heart. I love the family that owns the company that I work for, and I love the job I do. I get satisfaction out of doing jobs that are for our young men and women in the military, and I do the very best that I can every day to provide them with a super quality product that is not going to fail or somebody can die. So I thought that was pretty cool. So at lunch today I was reading an article and it was about how older men nowadays are, more and more older men are choosing to be alone. Meaning guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And basically what it said that older men now are choosing to be alone and not in a relationship because the younger generation of women because the younger generation of women create so much drama and so much stress in the relationship that older guys they don't want that anymore. They don't want stress of arguments. They don't want drama. They don't want to have to compromise their financial stability, because if you get married and you've got a huge 401k, or you own your house, or you have money in the bank, that woman decides to skedaddle, she gets half of it. Those are a couple of the reasons why men my age are deciding to stay single. Also, it mentioned in the article that a man likes to have control over his own destiny. He doesn't want to have to make compromises. And if you have a relationship, it's all about compromises. They're not willing to do that anymore. They don't want the psychological stress. So at 2 o'clock in the morning in my house, if I decide I want to sing karaoke, I can do it. I don't have to answer to any woman. If I want to go to bed at 6 o'clock at night, I don't have to answer to any woman. If I want to go out and sing karaoke, I don't have to answer to any woman. If I want to buy another car, or another gun, or another guitar, or more pipes, or more tobacco, or send my friends gifts, I don't have to answer to any woman. And I was saying that men nowadays, we don't have the generation of women that we had that are our mother's age and our grandmother's age and our great grandmother's age. Those women, they're few and far between nowadays. We don't have those kind of women anymore that respect a hard-working man, all right, and know their place. I know, but that may sound chauvinistic, but they should know their place. We certainly know ours. We go out and work our asses off. Look, we risk life and limb in some of our occupations to bring home the bacon, to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage, to pay the groceries, blah, 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 blah. Make sure the wife has a good new car. I don't need any of that bullshit. I'm sure a lot of you men that watch my channel will agree with me. And I'm not being chauvinistic or putting women down, but that's the stark reality of it, guys. And you'll all admit it. I can see the comments right now. Paul, you're 100% right. You know, I sent the article to a few of my friends, and they were like in total agreement. I mean, look, you know, we're not 25 years old anymore. So at 25, we had a very 20, 25, 30, 35 years old, we had a good sex drive. Women know they can use that sex drive that a man has to their advantage to control him. At 60 years old, you don't have that anymore. You can jack off and order a pizza afterwards, okay? And watch a movie all by yourself. I'm sorry if you don't like what I just said, but it's the truth, all right? And men who are alone, you're going to take care of yourself sexually, all right? Probably most of you. So we don't need women that create drama and stress and arguments. It was an interesting article. I even sent that article to a friend of mine who's a young guy. He's like 35 years old, and he's like, I totally agree with this article. He's like, men nowadays are just caretakers for women, and you know, and then they still give us drama. You know. Oh yeah. So I'm pretty happy just being where I'm at. I have a good friend of mine. Her name starts with a C. I like her very much. We've been friends since high school. That's all I need. Come over for a campfire every now and then. We don't even have to, you know what I'm saying? Cheers. Some companionship is nice, but to get nowadays for an older man to get into, according to this article and according to my thoughts, for a man to get into a committed relationship nowadays is extremely risky, especially if he's worked hard and has obtained his retirement and other things. I texted the article to my mom. She disagreed. She's like, Paul, your last two wives were ungodly wives, and you don't know the joy of having a godly wife. And I texted her back, you know what, you're right. But I also wanted to text her, Ma, they don't make them like you anymore. Okay? Most women that are my age, that are 60, are dried up and old looking. All right? The ones that are in their 30s, they have kids or drama, baggage. The ones that are in their 40s, they've been out in the bars and, they look rough. In the 50s, you start to look even rougher. Remember this, that a man that takes care of himself ages like fine wine. Women age like milk. They have an expiration date for their beauty. Now, that does not apply to people like my mom. My mom is 79 years old and looks 60. She's still very beautiful, but she's never drank, never smoked. None of that. Never done drugs, none of that. So she's a rarity. I wish you could find one just like her, but 20 years younger. But they're not out there. Anyways, I'm Paul the Pipe Guy. I hope you enjoyed the show. I think it was a good show tonight. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. Praise God. Thank God for what you have. And I've been truly blessed. I have. Peace, my friends. Paul the Pipe Guy. Over. But not out. Yeah. Happy Tuesday.